This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 145 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show, the Masterson Method. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
This episode is sponsored by Equestrian Collections. You can visit them at equestriancollections.com. Plus, Uncle Jimmy's. You can find all of his sweet treats at uncle-jimmy's.com. This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
How do you think Uncle Jimmy's feels about me calling his product Sweet Treat?
I loved it. I actually mixed it up a little bit there, and I was thinking to myself, go, Glenn. Go, Glenn. I was very proud of you.
Howdy, Uncle Jimmy.
We love your sweet treats. You know, I was thinking about that today when we were, I don't know which of the shows we were talking about when you said, I said I don't do well on stall rest.
Yes.
And I need one of Uncle Jimmy's hanging balls.
Yeah.
Well, he does make a version that's sugar-free, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, actually, so that it would fit with your diet.
Exactly. So I'm just asking Uncle Jimmy, can you please maybe make a human version?
8 pounds, baby.
8 pounds?
Yes.
That's fabulous.
I know. In just a few short weeks, now it's going to slow down, you know. Now I lost all the water weight. It's going to slow down.
Yes, it will slow down.
Now I'm going to have to work at it like you do.
Well, I've hit a plateau and I'm stuck at 15 pounds down.
Which isn't shabby.
It's not bad. And
well, you're limited too. You can't even walk.
I can only do I can go out to the barnyard and I can rake up hay and, you know, I can muck my stalls. So that's really the only exercise I could do is that upper body stuff, which really doesn't get your heart rate going.
No, and moving your lips for a living doesn't help either. That's not really much
No, but
exercise.
That does get your heart rate going. So I'm happy to just plateau at my 15-pound loss until I talk to the surgeons and figure out what's the next step. I may start to burn more calories once I start physical therapy. I hear that that's pretty good. So I'm not going to sweat it until then. Get it?
Well, before we get into our guests coming up and everything, I just wanted to give our best to everybody that's been affected by the weather over the last several weeks. I know there was a lot of horse farms affected and horse people in the tornadoes and flooding, and you know our best to all of them. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and you know, and it's supposed to continue here for the next couple of days. So.
More unstable weather?
Yes. So we're recording this on Wednesday, and of course we just came off of 2 days of bad tornadoes, and they're predicting today might even be worse. So.
Oh wow! I just feel for those people. I really do. It's
Jamie's my co-host on the morning show. Her in-laws are from Oklahoma, Norman, where the tornadoes were last night. Oh, and it spared their house, but got their neighbors.
God!
They went outside, and they said, I'm sure you've seen the pictures. It just looks like a bomb went off.
It might be a good time of year for us to set up a show about emergency handling things. What to do in emergencies? What horses do when tornadoes come and hurricanes come?
Yeah, that probably would be a good idea. And I know there's a couple places that a couple of the horse councils actually have guides to that.
Yeah.
So maybe we could get one of them on. That is a good idea. Because we got hurricanes coming next.
We do have hurricanes next. Yeah. And, the other day, and things, of course, if the show doesn't revolve around me, but I was thinking
it kind of does in a way.
Well, yeah, it does. So, all right, I'll go with it. So we had a really wicked thunderstorm, and my horses were out. And I hate to bring them in because they don't care. They don't mind getting rained on. And they don't have shoes on, and they do have shelter. They can come into the barn, but I was wondering, well, what would they do if lightning struck? If they're standing out in a field, are they going to come? Are they going to go under shelter? What's typical horse behavior when bad weather comes? So I would like to talk to an expert on that.
I think it depends on the horse too. Some of them are just like dogs. They go nuts when there's bad weather, and others stand out in the middle of it and don't care and keep eating.
Yeah, so it's an individual response.
Yeah,
but I'd be interested to know that and watch for signs and see what to do. But I was like, geez, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know what to do for them.
Right.
Except maybe lock them in.
Yeah, and that's maybe not the best idea either.
Exactly.
There's two sides to that camp. One says leave them out, let them fend for themselves. That's what nature has taught them to do.
Right.
And then the second side that says, oh no, put them in. But what happens if a barn collapses on top of them? I mean, we
Well,
always,
my barn,
to be honest,
because I live in hurricane zone, my barn had to be built with special hurricane clips and footings. Oh yeah, any new construction, any addition, shed, anything that you put on has to meet certain hurricane code requirements.
which would probably help with the straight winds of a hurricane, but not so much with a tornado.
Nothing's going to help with that.
Right.
So.
I mean, I got to tell you one story. Last night we were watching. They were actually showing. If you haven't been watching the Weather Channel, watch it, because the tornado hunters were actually feeding their feeds from their cars live back, showing the tornadoes as they happened. And they had one helicopter that was up that was showing this tornado going through, and it was amazing how close they could get to see the houses just being destroyed as it happened. And he flew then back a couple minutes later after it was out and showed the house. It was a slab. The house was completely gone, and these people were coming up through the sticks. What looked like they were coming out of the ground. They were coming out of their storm shelter. But the house had landed on top of the storm shelter, so all you saw was this whole family coming up through the sticks.
Oh my God!
It was an incredible sight. It was just heartbreaking and incredible and surreal all at the same time.
Well, we're gonna pray for some better weather in the next couple of weeks, and I don't know. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I know.
It's really all you can do, and help out any of our fellow horsemen and women who might be in need.
Yeah. Well, let's.
But we have good things to talk about today.
Yep.
We have good things.
Good things. That's correct.
Yes, we have good things. We're going to have a very special guest with us today, a fellow by the name of Jim Masterson, who is he's a professional equine massage therapist and the founder of something called the Masterson method, which is a totally unique method or unique approach to equine body work. And we're going to hear from him about why he thinks this method is better than those out there and how it can be really beneficial to both the pleasure and performance horse. So we're going to talk to Jim in a few minutes.
And that's the Masterson method, huh?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Pretty
All
cool.
right.
Yeah, I have one of his DVDs. In fact, Jennifer gave it to me for Christmas one year. And I fell in love with it and used some of the techniques on Zeke and was like, oh my God, this really works. Oh my God. Which, now I told this to you yesterday on the Tack and Habit show, but we had the dentist out recently to do both my horse's teeth. And the dentist was the first professional who's put his hands on my horse that had the nerve to tell me my horse was 10 years older than everyone thought he was.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, he says he puts Zeke at definitely over 25.
I know. That's just amazing.
Possibly 27. I have a hard time with 27, but I went and did a little more research online, and after looking at his teeth, I could definitely see how he could be at least 24, 25, and not 17. But no matter how old he is, he still appreciates a good rub down.
Well, now you'll know. I mean, now at least you'll know what his age is, and that helps you, a little be a little more giving and caregiving what you give him. I know you said you were starting him on a different feed too, and
yeah, I mean it just actually I'm not going to change anything that I do because I don't want to say I baby him, but I take very good care of him. I'm just going to change how I feel about myself. I'm more confident. Looking at him, he looks great for a 25-year-old horse. He not so great for maybe a 17-year-old horse, but pretty darn good for a 25-year-old. So I'm starting to forgive myself a little bit for maybe having trouble keeping weight on him or, some of the little things that I think I can do better. It actually makes a lot of sense because he's quite the senior horse. He's not middle-aged. He's quite the senior horse.
Although they can live a long time. We've had horses live to 35 and ponies live to 45. So
I hope he does because he is the best family pet we've ever had.
Cool. Well, that's saying a lot because you've had a lot of cool pets over there.
Oh, yes.
You definitely have. Well, let's take a break for our commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll get Jim Masterson on the line here. We'll talk a little bit about his method and why it's different than everybody else's when it comes to equine massage. I could use a massage, by the way.
Me too.
I'm sitting here on my ball, my back hurts, and it's like, I could use a massage. But anyway, I'm sure that doesn't really matter right now. Let's talk about Uncle Jimmy's. Uncle Jimmy's makes some fantastic products. All you have to do is go to uncle-jimmys.com, and you'll see all the different stuff he makes. And he's a heck of a marketer. I mean, what other person other than Uncle Jimmy would be brave enough to have products called his hanging balls and his, how about
licky
some of his squeezy buns and his licky things? And now he has a sugar-free hanging ball, so you can do right by your horse by not adding all that extra sugar with the molasses and everything. He actually has a sugar-free, and that was quite a challenge because it's the molasses and the sugary substance that actually holds most treats together.
Right.
And keeps them solid. Well, he had to find a way to do that without all the sugar, and he did. So that's the newest product is the sugar-free Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls. You hang it in your stalls. It relieves boredom. It's a boredom buster. They like it. It's fun to chew on. It gives them a treat, and it takes them a long time to eat it because it's just hanging in their stalls, so they play with it. It just gives them something to do. It sure beats cribbing.
It sure beats cribbing. You're right. And it sure beats them from going stir crazy.
Yes. And driving you nuts and everybody else nuts and kicking the stalls and having to replace the boards, which is what horse husbands have to do.
Well, here's the thing that I really, really like about Uncle Jimmy's products, or Uncle Jimmy's is the business, is that not only does he make fun stuff, but it's innovative. He's not just sitting around pushing the same old, same old. He's really thinking about ways to make your horse's life happier and therefore your life happier. So fun and innovative. That's what I would say. Uncle Jimmy's brand products are fun and innovative. Although he says horsing around is our middle name. But that's Uncle Jimmy.
If you have chickens, you have to get the pecker wrecker, too. And I'm not even going to tell you about that. You have to go there and check that one out. Uncle Jimmy's pecker wrecker. You got to find out about that if you have chickens. Are you?
Get chickens, yes.
Oh, you're going to have to call Uncle Jimmy and get some pecker wreckers.
I know. We'll have to get hanging balls, licky things, pecker wreckers, and squeezy buns. We have squeezy buns. I just need to get the rest of this stuff.
This particular advertiser couldn't be more perfect for the Stable Scoop Show.
I know. I know.
Uncle-Jimmys.com. All right, let's get to our guest.
So up next, we have Jim Masterson. As I said, he's a professional equine massage therapist and the founder of the Masterson method, which is a unique method of equine bodywork that recognizes and then follows the visual responses of the horse to touch. And that's in order to find and then release any accumulated muscle and structural stress in key parts of the horse's body, and typically those that most affect the horse's performance. Now, Jim's been around the block. He was the equine massage therapist for the U.S. endurance team at the 2006 and 2010 FEI World Equestrian Games, and also the 2008 World Endurance Championships in Malaysia. So he uses his method on both U.S. and international horses in FEI Grand Prix, Nations Cup, Pan Am, and World Cup show jumping events, as well as on USET driving horses and jumping teams. Right now, he travels around the world teaching the Masterson method to equine massage practitioners and horse owners. So a warm welcome to Jim.
I'm happy to be here. Here.
We are. Glenn and I are.
Jim's just happy to be somewhere.
Yeah, I'm happy to be somewhere and talking to you guys.
Okay.
You're floating around in the ethos. You know what? That's what we do. Glenn sits on a ball. I spin around on my chair. We could be anywhere. In fact, both of us could use a good massage right now.
Yeah, I could use that.
But, there's something serious that you focus on and that you teach, and this is a very unique method, your own method of equine body work or massage. Tell us a little bit about, or what's the foundation of the Masterson method, and why is this different than the other methods that are out there for equine massage?
Okay, so I guess should I start at the beginning?
Sure.
Because it just kind of developed itself. I wasn't trained in massage, or really didn't have any interest in massage other than getting one now and again. But I was working on the Hunter Jumper Show circuit as a groom, and I was working for a show barn that's near where I live here. And I would haul their horses to the shows and groom at the shows for the trainer. And there was this guy, an old horse chiropractor from New Zealand. He lived in California, but he'd been doing it for like 40 years. And every once in a while, the vets, a couple of the vets in particular, would bring him in to work on their clients' horses. Either I remember he would come in to work on our barn's horses at Lexington at the show and down in Wellington, Florida. And I was really intrigued by what he was doing. He was making these huge changes in the horse with these very he used pretty forceful techniques, but he would pay close attention to the horse to see if they were working or not. You know, he would do an adjustment, and then he'd watch to see what the horse had to say. You know, if it would start yawning repeatedly and shaking its head or shift leg to leg. And then all of the riders and trainers were just kind of in awe of this guy because he could do such amazing things. So I became interested in it, and but I wasn't trained in anything, and I really didn't want to use the forceful techniques he was using because you have to probably do it for 40 years before you get good at it. So I started just messing around lightly with the horses, and there were, we'd have these ladies come in and massage the horses at a couple of shows, and I noticed the horses would give these really subtle responses to really light touch. So I started just messing with it. For example, these ladies would go down the bladder meridian very lightly just to relax the horse, just kind of lightly run their hand down, and I would notice the horse would blink at certain points or his lips would twitch. So I started messing with it, and I realized that if I went very lightly down this same bladder meridian, or actually anywhere on the horse, at certain points the horse would give a really subtle response, like a blink or twitch. And since I wasn't trained to start massaging that area, the horse was saying something was there, obviously. If you went over it again, he would blink at the exact same spot. I wasn't trained to do anything about massage or anything. I would just rest. I just tried resting my hand there lightly, just barely touching the horse, and they would start to give the same responses that they would give this New Zealand guy that used to use, stronger techniques. And so I just kind of went with that, and it turned into this method. I would start to apply movement, and I'd study the anatomy, and I'd see how things were moving around in the skeleton there, and I would start asking for movement in the same kind of way of the horse kind of yielding to it and following his responses, and it turned into this method of body work that was effective. I started practicing in the that high competitive show world, and so I got a lot of good feedback, and it turned into something that works, one, and two, that it's a lot of fun to do because you get a lot of feedback. There's an interaction with the horse.
That's what I find the most interesting is the feedback. So you essentially, through very acute observation, have learned to understand where it hurts. So they're telling you where there are spots on their bodies that need massage. And it sounds to me a little bit like maybe trigger point therapy in humans.
Would you say? I think trigger point therapy, there's a little more pressure used. And as a human, we understand, and we get worked on. And if it hurts a little bit, we know it's helping. But the horse, if you start to apply pressure on something that hurts, the horse just blocks it out. So you can mechanically get in there and move muscle fibers around or use pressure, but the horse is blocking it out. Or you can back off and the horse will release. That's the other part is you stay under the horse. You learn by reading the responses how to stay under the horse's radar, under that point at which he'll start to brace internally. And if you stay under that, the horse will actually release the tension on his own.
Oh, so he becomes your partner in the treatment.
Yeah. He's not just telling you what's going on. He's starting to do it because you're staying under that. They survive by blocking out pain and not showing lameness, or otherwise they're lunch, right?
Their lunch, right? Right.
Show it, and if you find it and you push on it, they internally brace against it. If you find it and you back off, they let that tension go.
I love it. I can't wait to go out and put my hands on my horse.
You have the DVD?
I do. I have your first DVD, which Glenn's wife gave to me a few years ago for Christmas. And, I barely got the plastic off and popped it in the DVD player. And, I was down at the barn that night at like 11:30 at night. Of course, I barely watched it, but I rushed out to try these things. And, of course, I got one or two nice responses. And I was so excited that I was more excited that I was able to see his responses. Not so much that I could find out, that I could massage the problem away, but that I saw the same responses that you were talking about in the video.
Yeah, we kind of think of horses traditionally as big, strong, forceful animals, but they're much more sensitive and subtle in their body language than we are because that's how they survive. They don't have much of a vocal vocabulary, so they're very subtle and sensitive in their body language. So once you learn to kind of back off and pay attention, they'll not only tell you what's going on, but they'll start to actually participate.
It's interesting because a couple of weeks ago we had Wendy Ying on, Dr. Ying, who is she's a vet, but she also practices traditional Chinese medicine. And I see some correlations there in that what you're doing and what she's doing really pays more attention to the horse and the horse's reactions and emotions and everything else. I just see some correlations there, and it's interesting that we're having you on so soon after her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see a dangerous pattern developing here.
Yeah, we're getting serious. That's something we don't try and do too often.
We'll fix that in the next episode.
Next week we'll talk about
we'll have some clowns on. So, when you're working with obviously, we all hear that so many horses are so different. They're so individual. And when you first meet a horse and you put your hands on him or her and you're feeling around. Are there a set of responses or points in the general horse population that you find are there for everyone or most horses? Are there some things you can pretty much count on? And what are they?
There's some areas that like most horses, they'll hold tension in the pole area. And it can come from soreness in other places in the body. For example, sore feet will show up in the pole. Sore back will show up on another area in the top of the pole. And also just emotional tension. Horses hold tension in the pole and they have trouble releasing it. So, and it's a very sensitive area. So most horses, there are certain spots that you can find a response from almost every horse, even if it's a really, really subtle, like eyelids moves or lips twitch. And then there's other horses that are very expressive and you don't even have to even touch them. You just put your hand over the area without even touching them, and they'll start to release tension. So there are horses are different. Their body types are different, and their personalities are different. But there's those common things.
And what about in the jaw? Let me back up for a minute. What about certain breeds? My little quarter horse he gets really tense in the jaw and the shoulders. He sort of that's where he will tense up. Do certain breeds actually tense up in particular areas?
Oh yeah, well they'll express themselves in different ways. For example, quarter horses they can be pretty expressive or pretty stoic. And the warm bloods I work on, I find them very expressive. But for example, Friesians, you might as well be, they don't show you anything, so you really have to pay close attention.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is.
Friesians and Haflingers and the small draft breeds, all very, very stoic. So you really pay close attention and you be very light. See, if you push hard, that's as humans are instinctively we want to do more. So you'll be going over a very stoic horse and you think, this isn't working, I'm going to push harder.
And you tend to want to push harder because of drafts anyway.
Yeah. The trick is if you're touching, say you're touching going down the neck, the vertebra of the neck, with putting about just I call it egg yolk pressure, the amount of pressure it takes to kind of push an egg yolk, which isn't much. And you don't get anything, you want to push harder. You got to back off with those more stoic horses because they're so good at blocking it out. So you're using egg yolk pressure, you're not getting anything. If you soften your hand to what I call air gap, which is barely touching the hair, you'll probably get a response.
Now, how about, I think that's very interesting. You work on a lot of Arabs because you do the endurance. Are they just super sensitive?
They're sensitive. They can also be pretty they're really smart. They're thinkers. So they for example, they have a lot of tension in the pole just because they're always thinking. But they can be pretty expressive once you break through the ice. At first, they're a little bit guarded, but then once you break through the ice, they can't cover it up.
Hey,
that is
Jim?
pie, exactly.
Well, and I was just going to say I've dated some girls like that.
Were they Arabians?
They better be and not saddlebreds.
It's a long time ago, Jim.
I have a national show horse, an Arabian saddlebred, and he is exactly that. He's very guarded at first, always thinking, but as soon as he figures out what you want to do, he's extremely expressive. And you can put your hands anywhere on this horse, and he appreciates it. He will tell you exactly what he needs, and will then, audibly and physically release so much that he just hangs there.
Yeah. So different breeds, there are different body types and personalities, with different breeds. So.
What about the hot thoroughbred mares? Don't touch me, don't touch me.
They're going to be very expressive right off the bat. There's no, they're just expressive. But that's the other value of this is once they find out, they say, don't touch me, don't touch me. They find out you're not touching them. They're okay with it. Once they find out you're not going to do anything, then they'll relax. For the most, there's always the really high-strung horse that is, it's just a constant reassuring them, or they have to, they'll get used to it, and then like 5 minutes later they forgot it. So, but my point is, like with a very hot, high-strung horse, when you find some area where they have discomfort, they think you're going to push on it, or they're going to tell you to get away from it. But once they realize that you're not pushing on it, then they accept it and they relax.
Now, one of the things that you offer as you travel around the country and the world is training courses for other people to use your method. Are these mostly for other equine massage therapists? Is it for just the average Joe?
We do both. We have weekend seminars that we travel around and give weekend seminars, and that's for horse owners, for horse lovers. A lot of therapists come and take it. Massage therapists or other types of therapists come and take it because they like what they see, and they want to come and either learn a few more tricks or just see if it's for them. And then if they want to learn more, then we have a 5-day advanced course, and then we have a certification process for people that want to go on and get certified in my techniques. And that's basically all it is. It's not like you're not, it's not like a government thing that you're certified. It's just that I certify that you learned my techniques. So it's a certification course in the Masterson method techniques.
Right. Now, how do you find that folks take to the method? Is it something that they absorb and learn easily and then that they could almost apply immediately? Or are there some challenges to sort of letting go? I mean, I have this image in my mind of not wanting to rub hard and put pressure.
Actually,
how do your students take to this?
Yeah, everybody gets it. Like the weekend course, it's like everybody gets it. It's just that when massage therapists come, that I kind of have a joke that I have to walk around with a ruler, and if I see them pushing, I have to whack them on the hand with the ruler. They're the ones that are already trained. If they find something that they think I got to get that out, that it's hard for them not to. But once they get that, they're really, really good at it. And so it is it's very easy to learn. It just kind of switches the way you not only think, but you react when you're working with the horse.
All right, Jim, we're going to be back with to talk to you some more about this fascinating topic, and we're going to do that right after this commercial with Equestrian Collections. Hi, Glenn the Geek here. One of the reasons I am so proud to have Equestrian Collections as a sponsor on the Horse Radio Network is they are one of the most innovative companies in the equine retail world. Their website is so easy to get around and offers so much for the shopper. One of those things it offers is numerous online catalogs. Flip through the pages just like a real catalog. Find something you like, click on it, and buy it immediately. One of the catalogs up there right now is the Summer Tent Sale catalog, loaded with savings. 5 pages of savings. So you go to equestriancollections.com and click on the Tent Sale catalog right there on the home page. And flip away, find stuff you like, and buy it right there off the catalog. It's so cool. That's something you can't do when you're sitting on your couch with a catalog. So you can check out all the different catalogs available at equestriancollections.com. And, we always say it, but it's true. Equestrian Collections does provide the universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. We're back. Thank you to Equestrian Collections for their continued support of the Stable Scoop show. Well, Jim, what do you see? First of all, you didn't grow up wanting to be a massage therapist. You got into this in a roundabout way. It has to be sad. I always thought with the massage therapists, like veterinarians and like other providers like yourself, it has to be gratifying work. You're working with the endurance team. You're seeing your results happen immediately.
Well, yeah, that is a kind of a neat thing about it. And I think that's why people like it and want to learn it, because there's a little interaction there with the horse. You can see what's happening as you're doing it, as well as afterwards, So that's the fun part of it.
And the endurance team, I mean, if there's any horses that need massages, there you go. 100 miles in a day, I'd need a massage too. What do you see special issues with the horses that are in competing endurance that you don't see in other horses?
Oh yeah, different sports. Stuff that shows up in different areas in general. Endurance horses have a lot going on behind. And as Arabs, they hold a lot of tension in the pole anyway. So, they can. And the backs are a big issue with endurance horses. So, with warm bloods, I work on a lot of jumpers and hunter jumpers. You'd think there would be more hind end issues, but there's a lot of front end issues. They're big, heavy horses. They on their front feet. A lot of them are in the stall most of the time, so they don't get to move around a lot, which is hard on the feet. And when it's hard, when some stuff's going on in the feet, it shows up in the body. So, different areas. Dressage horses usually tight in the sacrum behind and tight in the pole and the jaw in front. Just in general. And addition to all the other stuff that can be going on due to feet, due to saddle, due to bits, due to teeth, whatever.
Now, how long typically, once you identify, let's say, a spot on the sacrum, and in particular like the SI area, and the horse tells you, or he releases, is that all usually that's required, or do you ever see a time where you do need to actually get in there and manipulate and work with the muscle fibers?
Sometimes, so there's not a whole lot of actual muscle massage with this method. There's a lot of movement and other techniques to get things to release. But, there are some areas where you do massage behind the pole. When we get the head down, we can massage behind the pole, the gluteal muscles. But the main thing that works that with this method that we do is, one, we get the horse to first let us in and start working with us. And then when we get something softened or relaxed, we ask for movement in a relaxed state. So, for example, the hip joint behind, the gluteal muscle attaches there. It's a big area where tension accumulates. So when you get that area softened up with some points and different techniques, and then if you move the leg through its range of motion in a relaxed state, it releases tension. Just moving that joint through the movement in a relaxed state releases tension in all the muscles that connect to it. So you don't have to do a lot of massaging if the horse lets the tension go. If you find that there's something still stuck, not letting go in there, or there's adhesion, then that's the time to go and massage after the horse has released all of the tension that it can.
Now, do you ever work in conjunction with an equine chiropractor? How do you tag team? How does that work? Or does it?
I don't. I mean, a lot of clients have chiropractors that work on their horses, and a lot of them report that it's a lot easier to work on the horse after they've been worked on with this method. Either me or my students, or my certification people that are certified, they always report that, the chiropractor keeps saying there's not a whole lot to do on this horse, so a lot of that tension releases. But if there is still an adjustment to do, it's much easier for them after they've been worked on. I don't work in conjunction with chiropractors myself, but I do have clients who have chiropractors that work on their horses.
Right. So it might be, I try to tag team those two appointments if I know that, because I do know that my chiropractor has said that after my horse has been massaged, his chiropractic adjustments are so much more effective and longer lasting. Yeah. So I know that if I've got one coming out, I tag team the other one, and then my horse is really happy in the next couple of months.
Quite a few of my certification people that say that they do that with their clients, or their clients will do that too.
Okay, great.
It's the most bang for your buck, I guess.
Yeah, because it's you have somebody who specializes in a different service or treatment of the horse's body, and yet we kind of have to take the whole horse into account, and a lot of times it's left up to us, the owners, to create that whole treatment plan. And I really like the way the chiropractic care works in conjunction with this kind of body work. But that's just me. Yeah. Glenn, what do you think?
You're smart.
I always agree with Helena because
you're smart too.
Well, I'm really excited. I know that you have a second DVD out. Is that true?
No, we're working on one during the new one.
All right. So you have the one that's out right now is called, what is it called? Where can you find it?
The Masterson method for performance horses.
Okay.
And then we have DVDs that we give students when they take the seminar, or we sell to students after they've taken the seminar, or if they're in the advanced course. So there are other DVDs, but they're kind of training materials.
Okay.
For people that are already practicing. We don't want. It's kind of like you kind of have to learn the basics before you go to the next step.
Now, you have a newsletter, it says on your website also?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so people can sign up for that. And the website is mastersonmethod.com. And there's all kinds of good stuff on there as well. It has your schedule on there. They can buy the DVD there.
And it has, people answer the question and answers. It's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, there's a forum and everything. This is really
good.
There's
a link to video clips. Like we have a YouTube station. You go on YouTube and see lots of video clips of. It's not just me talking. It's actually showing you how to do stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff that we want to make available for people to just kind of learn a little bit and just do some of it too.
Well, it's when I had was first watching your DVD, sitting there, and my husband just happened to be walking through the room, and it was the kind of thing where it caught his eye, and he stopped and stood there for a minute and watched, and then the next minute he sat down, and then the next minute he started asking questions. So it's really, I think it is so easy to watch you explain visually, and then see it actually happening on video. It's amazing. It's absolutely enthralling, and even for the non-horsey person. So, Glenn, this might be a good horse husband gift.
Oh, so.
Well, there you go.
Instead of mucking stalls, you can go out there and work on our horses.
A whole new market.
Yeah, that's true. You might be a little more enthusiastic about the horse stuff, your horse habit.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. That's the Masterson Method at mastersonmethod.com.
Yeah, and go on there and see what we have. And if you're interested we might have a seminar that's near you, or if you're interested in hosting a seminar, that's kind of how it works. People, they get the video, they see what it is, they say, I want to organize a seminar. So that's kind of how it works, and it's fun and it's interactive. Everything's interactive nowadays. Why not the horse?
Well, and I can tell by your schedule that you don't like to be home much. So if you'd like to help him out with that, you can schedule your own seminar.
Oh, well, I like to be home, but we have instructors now too, so it's good. People are wanting to learn it. So,
and I'm guessing that there's a place on your website where you can find a certified instructor in your area, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Well,
thanks very much.
That was very interesting.
That was interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little different. So.
I've done his method on my horses. I'm obviously like the hack method, the sort of the layman's version of it. And it definitely works. I can definitely see the horses release the tension in that specific area. But I still think that they need a good rub down too.
Right.
I still think, the physical manipulation of the muscles is helpful too.
Yeah, when I want a massage, I still want them to touch my muscles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, get in there and dig. Yeah.
Although I don't like it, when they do it too hard. I'm always like the medium muscle guy. I don't want to be in pain the whole time.
Right. There are some
I do want to enjoy it a little too.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger of massage therapists. Roll over.
Hey, wanted to remind everybody that you can listen to all our other shows. You can just go to horseradionetwork.com. And I don't know if you had a chance. You're at your computer right now, aren't you?
Yes.
Go to the Horses in the Morning Facebook page. A couple days ago, we did a show where we had some guests on. There's a new magazine that's right up your alley called Dirt Road Daughters Magazine.
I saw that, and then there's a picture of Jamie in her pajamas.
Did you see her pajamas? Well, the Dirt Road Daughters magazine people said, had a little chat with my editorial team, and we all agree there will be a page in the premiere issue featuring the Cowgirls Feed and PJs crew. Jamie, can you email me this pic? So Jamie's going to be in the first edition of Dirt Road Daughters magazine.
Woohoo! It's fabulous. It's because she's standing in the dirt in her wellies and her jammies.
She was a little offended when I asked her if it was a porn magazine, because it kind of sounds like that. And then you go there and this picture of
who
this
was offended? The editor?
Yeah, she was kind of offended.
Yeah.
And she said, I never thought about that. I said, it says Dirt Road Daughters. I mean, I said, you're going to get a lot of traffic. You're going to get a lot of traffic.
I hope you weren't considering asking them to advertise. Moron.
She was very concerned. I think she actually enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. She was very sweet.
Good. Okay.
And it's going to be a magazine all about fashion and things for cowgirls and farm girls and things like that. And, if you go to their website, though, they got the pretty
really
girl
cute
on it. And the first magazine's supposed to be out in the fall. So I told her we're going to do a special episode of the Horses in the Morning show with people who were in the first magazine. And now Jamie will have to be on.
All right. I love having Jamie on.
How do you like her Superman PJs?
I love them. I mean,
if you want to know what we're talking about, just go to the Horses in the Morning Facebook page and scroll down, and you'll see Jamie.
She can go out looking like that. See, I have to wear a robe because I'm in New England, so I go out there in my pajamas, my boots, and my bathrobe. And I don't care. The whole neighborhood can see me, and I don't care.
Now we're going to need a picture of that on our page. That's how Jamie. Oh, and then something else happened the other morning too. That same morning, it came up that I guess you've read Black Beauty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently Jennifer and I never have, and Jamie just thinks that's an ultimate sin. So starting next Monday, she is going to read a page or two of Black Beauty every day.
Wow.
On the show, we're going to have an audible reading of Black Beauty. Gotta say, I looked at the first paragraph and it bored me already. So we'll see how that goes.
You're just, yeah, I know. It has to. But you're an Audible book guy. So this is your own Audible book.
I guess, yeah, personally read to me.
What more can you ask for?
I guess I'll just snooze through that section. All right, that's about it, Helena. Don't forget Tack and Have It. We did it the Good Tack and Have It show this week. We had some fun. We learned all about bamboo products. Bamboo's the latest craze, and making things out of bamboo.
And we actually had a guest we didn't offend.
Well, we don't know. Yeah.
We don't know yet. We'll see. Yeah, definitely check out Tack and Have It. It's pretty good. It's actually very good. We learned a lot. What was my product again?
Oh, you did a really cool hat.
Oh, right.
A really cool cowgirl hat.
Yeah.
A leather one. Really nice. I would think it would look great on you, actually.
Yeah, and I have a great dress that it could go with and boots that would match.
And don't forget to tune into Tack and Have It to learn all about Helena's Perky Jerky this week.
Yum. Yum.
Speaking of which, I'm hungry. Let's go.
All right, let's go. We'll be back next week with something cool, I think.
With another great show.
Okay. Over and out. Pilot to go, pilot.